Hey folks, I have this marketing report for you. I'm going to do it video style to see how that feels for y'all, but what we have so far is $23.43 spent on advertising. I started with just targeting Bellingham. That wasn't producing enough search results for us. We're getting not even 10 impressions per day here. So I expanded that to both Bellingham and Seattle, and then we get a little bit more impressions, but still not enough to validate our tests. Remember, we were trying to get 100 impressions per ad so that we can say, hey, people are clicking on it or not. Because we're seeing normal industry click-through rates about 2%. So with 100 ads being shown, 2 people would click on them, and that would give us a strong or not strong signal for the whether or not we want to keep running that ad. So instead of going with the Google search ads route, I tried an experiment with this thing called Smart Campaigns. That generated some good impressions and clicks for us. We had about 5,000 impressions, but only 24 clicks, which was giving us a click-through rate of only 0.43%. We want at least 1% and ideally above 2%. So I ended that Google Smart campaign because it wasn't performing very well and because it was showing mostly on the Google Display Network, which is like banner ads that you see on websites versus, well, they wouldn't be banner ads in our case because we don't have image banner ads. They would be text ads shown on the right-hand column in websites. But we want to target the search network because search network captures intent. So in regular speak, what this means is it's going to take a little bit longer for us to actually generate enough impressions to validate whether or not our messaging is working or not working. I'm going to broaden the search terms and raise the bid a little bit to see if we can capture more impressions that way. We might not be able to capture more impressions because people might not be searching for the things that we're targeting. Using some of the analytics data, I was able to see what people are being shown organically. For instance, when they're going into the Google search engine, typing something in, what are people searching, and when is Alluvial pages being shown to them. So we have one key piece of insight here, which is that this web page, the what to expect from Half a Hog, it's actually getting shown the most. So people are typing Half a Hog into their search, and this web page is coming back more than any other web page that you have. The interesting piece is that the click-through rate on this web page is the lowest out of the top 5 web pages. We can also look at the website analytics. So looking at this Half a Hog thing, we're looking and seeing that the bounce rate and exit rate are super high. So bounce rate is when someone goes to that web page, it's the first page they see and then they immediately exit your site. If that happens, that's called a bounce. A high bounce rate means that web page is not a good fit for your people because of the design or because of the content or because of there being a difference in what people were searching and what they thought they were going to be seeing. The exit rate is when someone has been on your site for a little while, they're like clicking around web pages, and then they get to this web page, they see it, and then they leave your site. So the bounce rate is different because bounce rate is when it's the first page that someone sees, the first page they see is this Half a Hog and they leave. That's at 91%. The exit rate is when someone has been searching around on your web page for a little bit, and then they see this Half a Hog web page, and then they leave. So what we're seeing is that this web page has a very high bounce rate and a very high exit rate compared to the other web pages that are being shown on a fairly, they have some amount of data that has been captured. So this means in our regular speak that this is the first web page that we want to optimize or that we want to design a little bit better because it's probably going to, well, it's going to give us the highest return on investment just because we have this huge number of impressions on this web page, a very low click-through rate, and a very high bounce rate and exit rate. So we're going to want to focus our initial efforts right here on this web page to make that better. I hope this was helpful, talking about the progress on search ads and talking about some of the insights that we found in our analytics data so far. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to dive deeper into any of these concepts if necessary. I would also like some feedback on if this level of knowledge is something that you want, or if you want more of just the highlights like ad spend, what things mean in regular speak, or if this level of detail is sufficient, or if you'd like more detail. So let me know if this format works for you, the video format, and let me know if this level of detail is sufficient or not. Thanks.